How's everyone doing out there? You're excellent! We are still awake, we are still here and ready to ask some tough questions. We've got a segment folks love out there. It is officially our Roblox staff panel. Some of you may know our time's a little shorter here, so I'm going to do my best to get through any of the intros here so we can focus on the answer part of today and less on the questions and get that good information out there. Just so you know, we do have 2 microphones for capturing live questions from the audience. I don't know if we're going to get through as many as I'd like. Again, I'll do my best to get through some of the pre-submitted questions and bounce between the mics to get the questions live from y'all here and watching from home. So without further ado, let's introduce the folks that you now see on the stage, starting to my left here. His username, Dark Modian. He's an associate product manager on the Avatar team, and he's been at Roblox for 1.5 years, plus an internship. Let's give it up for Sari, Abukhadra. All right, moving right down the line. Her username is Roxy Bloxy. She's a senior product manager on the studio team, working on things like collaboration, developer marketplace, and economy. She's been here for 3.5 years. Let's give it up for Shreya Ramamurthy. Next is a man you know and love. His username Saranok. He's a principal product manager working on Creator Cloud, Open Cloud Experience Guidelines, as well as economy. He's been here for 5 years. Give it up for Matthew Dean. Next down the line, the man who needs no introduction. His username ZuxCG. He is a technical fellow here at Roblox, and he's been here for 9 years. Give it up for Arseny Kapulkin. Next, we have the username Give Nothing Back, nor does she. She's a product manager on Avatar Marketplace and UGC Catalog. She's been with us for 4 years at Roblox. Give it up for Alex Amorati. And finally, we're joined by a software engineer from the social team working on voice, groups, and more. She's been here for 3 years. Her username, Bitwise Andrea. Let's give it up for Andrea Fletcher. All right, everyone, thanks again. Now, actually, we do have a very, very special treat. Before I start, we actually have a very exciting special announcement that's going to be brought to you by the one, the only, Arseny. Arseny, go ahead and take the stage. Let them know what's going on.
Hi, everyone. So 15 years ago, we added Lua to the Roblox platform. Since then, a lot of the things that we have built, that you have built, has been built on that foundation, which we are very, very grateful for. For many of you, Lua is the first programming language that you've learned, sometimes maybe the only one. Several years ago, we started looking at the language evolution process, started figuring out how do we make the language more performant, more friendly for developers, more robust. The outcome of this has been our new language, Luau, that whether you know it or don't, many of you use this day-to-day on the platform today. This is the language that we use. So I'm super happy to announce that in a few weeks, we are going to be releasing Luau as an open source project. So this means 2 things. One is we are going to release the implementation source, the compiler, the runtime, the type checker, like all of the tooling in the public, in the open, with source available. And our hope is that developers will be able to use the language they know and love anywhere. The second thing is that we are going to accept community contributions as an open source project. And so this gives you guys an opportunity to help us make programming on Roblox better. Super excited to see what we can build together, and look out for the announcement when it's available in a couple of weeks' time. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Arseny. OK, folks, let's jump right in there. And as a reminder, there are 2 microphones on the side. Stand in an orderly fashion, and we will help you get through your question. Make it as succinct as possible. And I'll keep talking faster and faster so we can get to the answer part of our day. Let's just jump right in. Matthew Dean, this one's for you. Last RDC, it was announced that age ratings were coming. Since then, we have seen voice chat. Would a dev enabling voice chat in their game give it a 13+ rating automatically?
Yeah, that's a great question, Justin. So the way we're thinking about it is, and we have a talk on this, Alla and I talked about this yesterday, is that whatever is in the experience that affects the suitability of it should impact who we're recommending it for. So I think the idea is the rating itself might adapt to sort of the user and the region and all of those factors. I'd recommend, if you haven't, check out the talk. It'll be on YouTube shortly.
Great.
And we have
You heard it
details on
here.
that.
Check out the extended talk to know more. This next question's for Arseny. Are there plans for more features and flexibility with streaming enabled, such as an API to request to stream in and out certain parts of models?
So our entire year for the next year is basically streaming-enabled improvements and features. There's going to be both improved behavior so that your streaming places just work better, but also improved controls, things like atomicity for models, things like persistence for models, and a lot more to come. So definitely, stay tuned for all of these things. They should be releasing next year.
All right, excellent. Alex, when is UGC catalog access publicly releasing and expanding?
Great question. We are going to open it up when it's ready, but we are planning for that to be sometime next year. So there are obvious things that we want to do first. A lot of you guys who are familiar with the 2D catalog can probably guess what some of those things are. And we want to make a lot of improvements before we feel like we're really ready to jump in and give that opportunity to everyone. But rest assured, we are working as hard as we can to get that to happen next year.
Excellent. It remains our goal. All right, I'm going to get through 2 more pre-submitted questions before I jump to the audience. This one for Andrea. What is Roblox's long-term plans for improving asynchronous communication on Roblox, such as Dev Forum and Guilded?
So I'm sure that we're all really excited about the Guilded acquisition, and I know the social team is actively working on figuring out how that fits into our platform and an experience. And so I would say stay tuned. If you want to see something, make sure to communicate on the Dev Forum, which is a really great way for us to see what you all want and want to use in your stuff.
Big plans is the answer. Let us know what you need. All right, Sari, question for you. Are there plans for introducing a refund feature, since there's no way to refund someone at full price without losing precious money?
Absolutely. So as you guys build your businesses on Roblox, we want to make sure that you have all the tools to manage your business, manage your experience, manage selling of UGC items. So that is something that's on the roadmap, and we want to open up to all creators so you can effectively run your business on Roblox.
All right, let's jump to some live questions from the audience. And again, I encourage you to word them as succinctly as possible. Let's start on this side of the room here. Go ahead and state your username and tell us your question.
Draconian. Hello, I'm Noble Draconian. I had a bit of a generic question today. What does Roblox mean to you?
Did you have someone in particular you'd like to answer that question? Or?
Just all of you.
All right, we will go down quickly and summarize what Roblox means to us in a beautifully succinct way. Sorry, you want to start us off and we'll go down the line?
Absolutely. I think Roblox to me means creativity and being able to create anything you can imagine from scratch.
Andrea.
Yeah, that's a great answer. I would add on to that by saying Roblox means inclusivity. Anyone can be who they are and express themselves however they want. On the platform.
Fantastic. Matthew Dean.
For me, it's letting developers realize their visions.
Arseny.
For me, it's easy-to-use technology that allows developers to achieve things beyond what they thought was possible.
Alex.
Similarly, be anything, do anything, find a community.
Andrea.
Creativity and togetherness. There's something really great about opening up Studio and making something cool and sharing it with your friends, and I think that's fun for anyone of any age.
Awesome. I got a good hint on all your personalities through that as well. That was excellent. Thank you. All right, let's jump to this side of the room. Go ahead and state your username and your question, and who it's for.
Hi, my username is Davidii, and my question is the same question I asked at RDC 2019, and it's for whichever stakeholder is most relevant. We can sell clothing, we can sell access to games, we can sell plugins. When can we expect to sell models?
Yeah, so I'll take that one. As you guys probably know, in the marketplace, we have a few things that we want to improve in the ecosystem before we can enable selling so that everyone is set up for success. So enabling selling for models and all the other categories in the marketplace is extremely important, but we don't want to do it too prematurely. So it is on the roadmap. We have a few content security, safety, and kind of creator protections that we're doing first. It will be coming soon, though.
Thank you.
Of course.
Soon TM, you heard it here. And do we have any online questions? Love to get in one of those. Let's hear it.
We do. So Roblox account, this one's from Azar. They say Roblox accounts are essentially becoming bank accounts. I understand that 2FA is rolling out to everyone. Anything can be removed or changed by Roblox support, either accidentally or with incorrect forged identification. So how will Roblox ensure that our accounts will be protected going forward when it comes to human error on Roblox's side? Additionally, are there any plans to add support for physical keys like a YubiKey in the future?
I can probably take this one. So I don't have all the answers. I will say I know that our account security team has been revisiting our internal policies around how do we make sure that every action taken on your account is properly authorized. So I don't know details about that, but I don't know that's happening. And then as far as physical key support, I don't think so. I think we're pretty confident that with the two-step authenticator that we have on mobile, it's a really strong protection mechanism, but we're always open to exploring things like that. So would love to hear more offline.
Yeah, I can assure that, Dev, this is a major topic of focus for us, both internally and externally. So we will be solving that. All right, let's jump back over to a few pre-submitted questions. This next one for Matthew Dean. What are the future plans for Roblox to help protect developer assets? Currently, the only tool to combat this is to file a DMCA.
That's a great question. So I think there are a couple different things to cover here. So one is asset privacy, which we've talked about, which is really when you upload an asset to the platform, making sure that you and only people you authorize are able to use it in their experiences. This would help prevent leaks. This would help ensure that your content's protected. That's something we're actively working on and going to start rolling out asset type by asset type in the coming quarters. I'd say the other thing is in terms of IP, that's an area where we are starting to explore, like how do we make sure that as you're building your brand that other people on Roblox aren't able to take advantage of that and use that improperly, but we're in the early stages, so stay tuned.
Fantastic. Arseny, a question for you. The updates for adding realism to Studio is amazing, but many players can't enjoy them due to performance issues. Are there any plans to make sure things run smoother on mobile?
So I mentioned that a lot of the work next year is going to be about streaming. This work is actually in context of a larger initiative that we have a code name for, that's K-Perf, that I think of as 1,000% more performance, which is cheeky because that's a very lofty target. But essentially, we are refocusing a lot of the internal engine efforts on making sure that we improve performance across the board, that we can publish complex places with detailed meshes, detailed textures, etc., have them run smoothly on mobile. And there's just a lot of improvements that we can make in this area, and so you should expect us to do more and more of this over the next year, over the year after this, and in general for years to come. So this is our biggest focus from the engine perspective.
Excellent. All right, let's do one more before we jump to live questions. Alex, this one's for you. What is Roblox's vision for free catalog items, specifically in this case for top games?
Oh, I love this question because I get to talk about like 3 things. The vision is basically that. We definitely want to empower experiences to give away and reward catalog items in their games. We know it's going to be a really strong marketing tool for getting new users into your experience or for keeping old ones engaged. That said, we don't want to restrict it just to top experiences. We definitely, step 1 is going to be opening up UGC for all developers, so that way we're not giving a big advantage to certain games over others. So that's going to come first. And then the other piece of it is free items. As most of you probably know, right now only Roblox can empower rewarding items without users having to pay Robux for that. And we're being very thoughtful about how we want to allow that to enter the UGC space. There's still some thinking to do there, so stay tuned, but that is definitely a vision that we are excited about.
Excellent, thank you. All right, someone's ready. Let the free items reign. All right, let's jump back to some live questions from our audience. Go ahead on this side of the room, state your name and your question, who it might be for, if you know, or we'll figure it out.
I'm Eternal Furious, and this is to anyone that can answer this question. So I have 2 questions about age rating, mostly about 17 plus. So my first question is, so how will you prevent like users from playing 17 plus games, and like will you need to upload an ID? Will the same thing be for people who want to make 17 plus games? And my other question is, so currently in the industry, 17 plus games are rated as M for mature, and this includes like many mature topics as blood and gore and references to drug use. Will the same standards apply to Roblox, or will there be limits?
Yeah, I can take that one.
Right.
That's great questions. So I think the first one was around how will we sort of protect users and make sure they're only accessing content that's appropriate to them. So recently we launched a blog post talking about our ID verification system that allows us to be able to know the user's age definitively and protect content. So we're looking at leveraging that same system for sort of aged up content like we're talking about. This, again, this is more long term, so we're still assessing how we do this, but generally that's our plan. And as far as how do our standards compare to other standards? In general, we want to make sure that whatever we're building works around the world. It is trusted by parents and players. They know what to expect. So I think we'll look at similar standards. The real challenge with this is around the product. So today we sort of have a one-size-fits-all approach to what's appropriate. Things are either appropriate on Roblox for everyone or not. And we're going to have to expand that and be able to say this particular experience or a subset of the experience is only available to select audiences. So that's the piece that we're starting to build out to enable that dynamic range of content.
Awesome. Thank you, Matthew. All right, let's jump over to this side of the room for another question.
Hi, my name is Fruity Sama. I was wondering if you guys plan on adding premium payouts to paid access games.
Great question. Premium payouts to paid access games.
Yeah, I think so.
Nose goes for this one.
I'll do it.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely. So our vision is really to support creators and help them with all the tools to monetize their experiences in the best way they see fit. So one of those ways is through a paid access game or through engagement-based payouts. That's something that we're looking into because we really want to support you guys and monetize however you see fit. So that is something that we'll look into, and there's more to come on that.
Great. Thank you so much. And can we get one from online if we've got it?
I have two from Outlook G. One is economy and one is performance. The economy question is, will we ever see any sort of incentive for selling premium in our games? So recently there was a functionality released to sell premium in your game. And then the performance question is there any performance improvements for Future is Bright? Currently, it can bring players down to 5 FPS with little to no lights.
I can take the economy one.
Yeah, you ready? All right.
Awesome. So that is something that we are thinking through. I think the bigger goal, which is really exciting, that was announced yesterday, is around developer subscriptions. So having the ability for developers to enable subscriptions within their experience. And that provides an opportunity for developers to allow special access, new permissions, and I think that will be the focus for now, but we have been looking at other options as well.
Fantastic. And our performance question.
Yeah, I can take the performance question. So there is two sides to this. One is that we already have the technology in the form of automatic quality level adjustment that should make sure that if you use Future is Bright in your game and the player's computers can't handle it, then the quality downgrades and they don't see the great lighting, but also they have a playable experience. But at the same time, we are also working a lot on improving the Future is Bright's performance when it is active or when it is at the maximum quality level. You probably saw the, or I guess it's an online question, so I don't know, but we showed the VisTech presentation at the first day of RDC with the beautiful space station, etc. We built this as a stress test to make sure that now that we have this content, what's the maximum performance that we can render that? And we are seeing amazing progress from the internal performance improvements that are not rolled out yet, but should be rolling out over the next few quarters that should make sure that when it is enabled, it's also faster.
Excellent. All right, let's jump back over to some pre-submitted questions. And this question is for the lady on the end, Andrea. Are there any plans for improving the social and administration aspects for groups in the near future?
Yes. If you came to our talk, Creating Opportunities to Connect yesterday, you would have learned about the ability to ban users from a group, which is something on our roadmap. And we're also planning on just adding some quality of life features that better allow you to manage the ranks of the members in your game. So this is something that we know is tough right now, and we're looking forward to improving.
Great, thank you so much. Arseny, are we ever going to see the improved lighting solution, including self-shadowing and shadow casting, for particle emitters seen in the old Future is Bright builds?
This is a sad story because we had this super awesome, fantastic demo of particle self-shadowing that was based on the pre-Future is Bright technology, where we looked at how we can improve the voxel lighting tech. And the reason why we haven't shipped this is we haven't shipped that technology, right? Now, the good news is that there is some amount of particle lighting, like light that we shipped with Future is Bright. Particles can be lit, but particles do not cast shadow. So we have plans to look into, there are some techniques that could allow us to get not the full thing that we were showing in the early demos, but closer to that. This is not the first or the second on our priority list. As I was mentioning, we are really starting to be laser focused on performance. So we sort of know how to do this. We know this will happen, but we don't know when.
Excellent. All right, let's turn it back over to some live questions starting on this side of the room. Go ahead and step up close to that mic. Tell us your username and ask the question.
All right, I'm Ayu, and my question is, as Roblox becomes more popular over the ages, I found out that customer service has been much congested, and it usually takes me a very long time to get a response from them or actually get like a solution for them in terms of something like deleting an asset or working out something with premium purchase. And I wonder if there is a way to establish a fast track for developers in terms of customer service, because sometimes you need that urgency as developers need a lot more.
I think I understand where you're going with this question. I'm not sure we have the staffing for it. Improvements to customer service. I'm not 100% sure this crew is ready to go down that rabbit hole yet, unless someone's going to stop me here. But I think part of this was better control for assets.
Yeah, I don't know all the details. I will give you kind of the short of it, which is I think we recognize a lot of the pain that you're going through, and I think one of our big focuses is overhauling our safety systems to make it possible for us to really process requests and act on them very quickly. And then in terms of things like assets, being able to directly in product submit appeals and things like that. So we are actively working on this, and it's the top priority for our safety group.
Awesome, thank you. All right, let's jump to this side of the room for another question live.
Hi, I'm George. I just have a question with the new Verify My Age feature.
Oh, can you get a little closer to the mic? I don't know if I can hear.
With the new Verify My Age feature, is Roblox going to take any attempts to validate that a document is actually the person on the account and not just maybe a parent or somebody else, a guardian?
You got this one, Matt?
Yeah, we already do. We look at a live image of the person as you're filling out your age verification, and we ensure it matches the ID. So we do have some protections in place already. Yep.
Fantastic. Thank you for that question. And can we go to an online question?
This one comes from Joe S. Joe S. asks, with the open cloud, will we be able to overwrite existing assets without updating the asset ID?
So that's a great question. Hopefully we can balance it out and have other people answer. But for open cloud, yeah, absolutely. The idea is any asset you can create programmatically, you can update and create a new version. So that is something we're looking into. I'd love to connect with you offline on what asset types specifically you'd like us to be able to unlock that functionality for.
Fantastic. Awesome. Anyone else need to contribute? Otherwise, we'll keep moving on to more questions. Let's hear from this side of the room. Go ahead and state your name and your question.
My name is Inyo22, and my question is rather simple. Realistic fluid dynamics when?
We know who we're looking at.
So there is 2 dates that I like to use. One is soon TM and one is not soon TM. and this is currently in the not soon TM category. We have a lot of really cool simulation updates. They were featured in the keynotes on Thursday. Fluid dynamics is the one that's like probably the most computationally intensive thing that we could do. It's really, really tough to do well over the network. We actually had prototypes from 2013 or so in the old voxel water that we scrapped because they didn't work in a networked environment. So this is not on the roadmap right now. I think at some point we will start looking into this, but it's just like not soon TM is the best I can say.
All right, you heard it here. All right, let's jump to this side of the room for one more question.
Hey there, my name is Mr. Async, and this is for anybody. Right now, the HTTP service request limit is 500 requests per server per minute. But as experiences get bigger, servers get bigger, and the features that we use off Roblox get bigger, do you have any plans for maybe increasing that limit?
Yeah, we do. So we've looked at this as we have more and more players in game, a single static fixed limit isn't going to cut it. So we're looking at making it a multiplier based on your player count at least, so that as you have more and more players, you can issue more requests.
Thank you.
But we will need to be very careful with all of this, which is why it hasn't just happened, because it's very, very easy to make a mistake. We have examples of developers launching their game and accidentally taking down their own servers with that, and the game stops working. We have examples of developers unintentionally causing issues for other infrastructure in the world. So this is like, we need to do what you're asking for, but it's not as easy as just adjusting a number, unfortunately.
Fantastic. Thanks for that answer. Let's jump to a couple more pre-submitted questions before we go to the final live questions. Shreya, what plans are there to improve experiences for larger game developers in studio and on the platform, particularly when it comes to assets?
Yeah, this is a great question. So when it comes to assets, there are a few things that we are currently working on to enable bringing in large amounts of assets onto the platform. So one of them is beefing up our import tools. Specifically over the last few months, you've seen lots of great improvements with our mesh importer, and we're looking to expand this as well so you can bring in bulk assets, simple clicks, easy to use. Additionally, we're also doing major improvements in our asset manager. So right now, as many of you know, it's kind of a flat list based on asset types, but we are going to be adding a ton of different sort, filtering, grouping kind of options so that it's very easy to manage large number of assets across your different experiences.
Fantastic, thank you. And I'm going to do one more in here before we go live, because this one's from Matthew Dean, and I know we're going to hear it. What are the plans for supporting external tools such as Roho?
Yeah, great, intentionally controversial question, probably. So in general, our philosophy is we want to give developers the most control possible. So one of the big initiatives we've talked about yesterday was Open Cloud, which is making our entire surface area open to you so you can build your own tools. So with our launch of Place Publishing, we're actually talking to the Roho team about them using that and using similar APIs. So in general, we don't want to get in the business of building every single tool imaginable. We want developers like you to be able to build those tools, share them with each other, and scale the community that way.
Fantastic. Well delivered, Matt. All right, let's jump to some live questions on this side of the room. Go ahead and state your name and your succinct question.
Hey, I'm Squiddy Cakes, and I'm wondering if there's any plans for a console revamp, because right now it's pretty outdated.
I'm not sure I fully heard that. Did you guys hear that question exactly? Can you try that again? Go a little closer to the mic next time.
Yeah, so I'm Squiddy Cakes, and I wonder if there's any plan for a console revamp, because right now it feels pretty outdated.
Console revamp?
Developer console?
No, like Xbox.
Oh, the Xbox console. Oh, interesting. I don't know if we have the...
I mean, I can say that depending on what you mean by revamp, but if you mean sort of the user experience, what you see today on Xbox is our old console app. You might have noticed that we started the rollout of the universal app. The idea there is to unify all of the platforms, have a single common experience adapted for the target device type or like form factor that you're playing on, right? So Xbox is not part of this yet because we are starting with the desktop, but Xbox will be part of this. So you are going to see better user experience in the app after we finish the desktop app rollout.
Yep, thank you.
Fantastic, thank you. And I'm seeing a line over on this side, so we're actually going to have one more person step up and go ahead and lean in close and ask your question.
Hi, I'm the Amaze Man. My question is about game ratings or experience ratings. what is the future vision for the thumbs up, thumbs down ratios and different platforms and developer stats, seeing where our dislikes are coming from, which platform specifically, or if there is any difference there? Because, for example, my game, like maybe I have a hunch that it's more laggy on mobile, so there's more dislikes there.
A couple of elements there. Game ratings, general. Matt, you got it?
Yeah, so I think what you're talking about, if I understand it correctly, is you want to make sure you have the insights to understand how is your game performing, how are players liking it across different devices. Correct. And you don't have those insights today? Okay. Yeah, so we have been building out the analytics dashboard, if you've seen it on the creator dashboard, and slowly adding functionality. Right now we have things like retention, monetization, but this is the sort of thing that we want to get to in the future. It's really, really hard for us because there are so many things we want to open up and expose there. So yeah, definitely submit a feature request if you haven't already. We'll look at it, but we have a lot of analytics functionality that we're looking at unlocking, particularly next year.
Awesome.
We're also rethinking how we're doing the ratings, like the thumbs up, thumbs down for assets and everything across the platform. We know that sometimes it's hit or miss with the usefulness of that kind of information, so we are thinking about that holistically as well.
Fantastic. Thank you all. All right, we only have a couple minutes left, so I'm going to try to get through as many questions as I can from the folks out there. Go ahead on this side of the room, state your name and your question.
My name is Profine, and I'm just wondering really quickly, this is a question about video frames. When can we expect developers to be able to use this feature and upload videos and stuff to the cat?
Video frames. Sure.
Video frames. It is, so right now, video frames are usable with content from the developer marketplace. Extending this so that all of you can upload your own video content and use this is coming soon. Can't say exactly when. We're looking through a lot of trust and safety and kid safety kind of issues, as you can imagine. But it is coming soon. We really want to give this capability to all of you so you can expand the kinds of experiences that you're building. So it is, we have a team dedicated to working on it. It's coming very soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We have an online question to tack in here.
This one comes from Max_J. Max is asking when groups will have the ability to split up their revenue streams. Right now, you can only have your revenue go one direction. So when can we split it between games and even in the future, other assets that we sell?
I'll take this one. So I've actually had some great conversations with developers about this week, but it's something that we know is a pain point when using groups for development, and we're trying to make sure that we're supporting that in the right way. So there's an active discussion going on about it.
Fantastic. Thank you. All right, jumping again. We are on our final stretch here. Go ahead and step up to the mic nice and close. State your name and your question.
Hi, I'm Camille, RoboCambot. I was wondering, is the ID verification system only limited to US IDs, or do you have a list of countries?
Do we know that answer? We might not have the right party to answer such a question. We'll have to find out at a different time. But thank you so much for asking it. We'll get that answered. Going through the lightning round on this side of the room. Go ahead and step up and state your question.
Hi, my name is Builderboy. My question is for Alex. I wanted to know what kind of systems are going to be put in place to moderate copying in UGC when it goes fully public, and how do we avoid the race to the bottom we see in the 2D clothing market?
I just want to make sure I understood that. Your question's about moderating?
Yeah, how do you protect copying in the 3D clothing when UGC goes public?
And how do you avoid race to the bottom on prices?
Okay.
How do you avoid race to the bottom on prices?
Okay, I'm still not sure I'm getting all of those words. I'm
So
sorry,
he's trying
guys.
to avoid some of the patterns I've seen with T-shirts and the race to the bottom for cost structure. He thinks this has to do with people maybe emulating others' work a little too closely. What are we doing to prevent such inspired emulation?
I see, I understand. That is a really, really good question, and that's definitely something that, as I alluded to before, we totally have not solved in the 2D space, so that's something that we're being really thoughtful about. I mean, there are possible solutions that have to do with, machine learning that can kind of recognize when something is similar or not. We are looking in, we're exploring that space and seeing if that's something we can use here. There are easy solutions that have to do with exact copies, and we're trying to put those into place as well. But it is very important to us that we protect creators' original works. That benefits you guys, it benefits people who are consuming that work. So it's very important that we get that right. I don't think we're going to get it perfectly, but we're going to do everything we can.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Alex. I'm going to squeeze in one last question. If we can fit it in, go ahead and state your question. This will be the last one of the day, as fast as you can.
My name is Igotic. I closely follow like all the educational content on Roblox. I know it's something trying to be pushed. How can we ensure that educators are motivated enough to bring Roblox into their classrooms?
Education question. I do not think we have the right education panelist here. Andrea, take a stab.
Yeah, we have an amazing education team that's really working on making sure that we have incentives for people to develop educational experiences, and classroom integration and supporting that is something that we have a whole team dedicated to. It's been really important to us lately, and I think you'll see really great things from them this next year.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think Dave also mentioned in his keynote yesterday that we're looking to expand Studio and other building tools onto Chromebooks so it's as accessible as possible. So I think the more people we can get into Studio, the more reason educators will have to bring it into their classrooms.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. At this point, I want to give our panel one big round of applause. All right. Thank you guys so much.